Hello again and welcome to Cowboy Football Weekly, driven by Nissan. Well, the Wyoming Cowboys were certainly driven last time out as they went down to Fort Collins, and in border war number 110, the Cowboys came away with a big road victory over their rivals. It was a big win for Wyoming, certainly needed. The Cowboys snapped a 4-game losing streak. They made it 3 in a row now over their rival at Colorado State. What a big win that was, Kevin.
It was, and there's nothing better really than beating your arch rival, but especially in their new home. The Cowboys go down to a hostile environment and played, I think, their best game of the year on both sides of the football, and it certainly paid off in the end. Yeah,
it was a big win, and Cowboy football head coach Craig Bohl talked a little bit about it, and so did Cowboy freshman quarterback Sean Chambers. He had a little bit to say about this big win in Fort Collins.
First of all, our field position did help. And then along with that, there's a residual effect. Even though we weren't scoring a lot of points, the number of times you can keep a defense on the field and start turning the ball over. The running game really started opening some things up, and then Sean did a nice job with some play-action pass on some nakeds. The throw to Tyree was an excellent throw, and Tyree did a great job. And but I think the biggest thing is staying on the field. We did a better job as far as eliminating some penalties. And then I thought our running backs really made some nice cuts and nice plays.
I would say what loosened us up is the defense. I mean, they had turnovers off of turnovers. I think they had finished with 3 tonight or something. So I think that loosened us up. And, we went out there. If the defense is playing like that, giving us good for the position, we want to reward them with touchdowns, So that kind of gave us the momentum and fired us up.
Well, it was a big win for the Wyoming Cowboys, and as Kevin mentioned before, they did it just the right way. All phases got involved here, Kevin. This was a team victory to be sure, and I know the one thing we were really looking to see and wanted to find out is just how well that freshman quarterback Sean Chambers would perform. Wow, was he special in this game. He
was, and we always talk about quarterbacks or leaders that have it and all that kind of thing, and he seems to be that guy. He just looks like he relishes the pressure. He likes to be on that big stage, and he does a great job of leading his team. But when you play like he plays, and I don't know how long he's going to do that before they slow him down a little bit, but he'll straight arm you, he'll run over you. He doesn't generally play like a quarterback plays. He plays more like a running back or a linebacker, actually. He's just a very tough guy, but his leadership qualities are starting to come out, and that's a great thing for the Cowboy team.
Head coach Craig Bohl and Cowboy linebacker Logan Wilson both talked about this freshman phenom, Sean Chambers.
He did some really good things, we felt like, in the Utah State game. Showed his natural ability. He's a competitive guy that can run and pass. We thought during the course of the week he was really embracing the game plan. Got better as each practice went along. Coach Vegan's done a nice job with him. And, did not feel like that stage was going to be too big for Sean. And I think we were right. And it was great to see him come out and perform the way we did.
I know the kid's a competitor, like I said last week, and it showed tonight. The kid's just, he's in there in the offensive huddles, and he's getting everyone hyped up to go out and, punch CSU in the mouth. And, that's not something that you can necessarily teach all the time. He's got very good leadership skills, and I think the guys on offense get behind him.
Oh, the Cowboys got a great performance from that freshman Sean Chambers. Of course, Nico Evans was special. The Cowboy offense really just special most of the evening. The Cowboy defense, Kevin, was really good in this game. In fact, pitched a shutout in the first half. 3-0 Cowboys at halftime down in Fort Collins, but they have really picked it up on that side of the ball, the Cowboy defensive side, I think.
They really have, and we saw that at Utah State, how what they did in that game against a high-flying team like Utah State, started to come back, and last week that was just what you want to see from the defense. It's kind of what we expected all year, I do believe, and those guys went out and they played hard. And honestly, you never really felt threatened in the game because they were so dominating. You just didn't feel like Colorado State could score on them.
Yeah, really felt comfortable. The Cowboy defense was just spectacular in this one. And Cowboy safety Andrew Wingard talks about how this Cowboy defense really has come together.
Well, I can't remember what game it was after. I think it was Boise or something. We had a come to Jesus talk as a defense. Coach Hayes just said, when I came in last year, there was no pressure on us. We weren't playing good defense the year before, and we just played freely. We didn't care what the outside rule was saying and all that stuff, and we just played. And those first 4, 5, 6 games, we were too focused on the outside noise, too focused on doing things so perfectly right that we just lost our edge. And I think our edge is just playing free. That's what we do. We play free. We play wild. And I think you saw that tonight. Guys were flying around, making plays, big hits, talking a little trash here and there. And that's what we're built on. And that's what we got back to, and it showed tonight.
With that big win over their border war rival, the Cowboys now have won 3 straight, the last 3 in the series, and that really means a lot, I think, to these Cowboy players, Kevin. They talk about it all the time. Holding on to that boot and beating CSU is a big deal.
I'll tell you, it is a big deal. It means a lot to you and me and everybody else involved. It's just such a special thing, and all rivalries are great for college football. But this one has a very special meaning to it because of that prize and all the tradition, 3 centuries and all that. And to this team, you can tell how much it means when they go over there and grab that boot and take it to the crowd that's in the stands. And when you can do it on the road in that place, well, just nothing better.
Yeah, a couple of Cowboy outstanding defenders, Andrew Wingard and Logan Wilson, talked about beating CSU.
That was awesome, grabbing that boot and running over there. And I'm a senior now, so I retire at 3-1. I retire champion. So it feels really, really good to see see that gold crowd over there. That's why you play the game. That's why you play for Wyoming. That's awesome right there.
It's pretty surreal. Being from Wyoming, you grow up and you hear about this rivalry all the time, but to play in it for one and then win it 3 times in a row is very special. And to bring that bronze boot back to the state of Wyoming means the world.
So the Cowboys come up with a big win, and Kevin, next up you've got San Jose State coming right here to War Memorial Stadium. 3 left to play on the regular season schedule, but the most important coming up Saturday. Yeah,
those guys have beaten the Cowboys a couple times in a row, so they owe them.
You bet. Stay with us. More to come here on Cowboy Football Weekly, driven by Nissan. We're back right after this.
It's times like these when you've got to stay centered. The 2018 Nissan Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist that can help keep you centered in your lane. Experience it only at your local Nissan store. Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
If keeping your work site on time, on budget, and onto the next job is keeping you up at night, you need to wake up to Komatsu. Our machines are designed for production, uptime, and savings. We are more than just iron. We are giving you a technology to move more material in less passes, start sooner, finish faster, and burn less fuel. We are solving problems before you had them. So stop doing what you've always done. The only thing that's going to keep you up at night is wondering why you didn't do it sooner. Discover the job site of your future. Komatsu.
When did we stop thinking up new questions and daring to chase down their answers? The world needs more wonder, more outside thinkers hungry for a challenge. The world needs more cowboys. And it's not what you are that makes you a cowboy or cowgirl, but who you are. It's a shared spirit, the kind that emboldens those who possess it to stand on the perimeter and howl into the unknown with unbendable optimism. The world needs more cowboys.
Well, next up for the Wyoming Cowboys, the San Jose State Spartans. These 2 teams ended the regular season against one another last year. San Jose State got the better of the Cowboys in that one over in San Jose. But here you go, you have the rematch right here in War Memorial Stadium. This San Jose State team now, they know what it feels like to win. They got their first last time out and scored all kinds of points, scored 50 in their win over UNLV.
Yeah, they have some good players, and they had a couple tough games. They lost in 5 overtimes to Hawaii. They lost a very close game to San Diego State. So they have the ability to play and play well. and they finally put it together last week against UNLV. It'll be a challenge, as always. Josh Love is a very good quarterback. He's got a great tight end to throw to, and Josh Oliver, I guess maybe the best tight end in the Mountain West Conference. So they have some weapons, and it'll be a heck of a challenge.
Cowboy head coach Craig Bohl talks about that San Jose State offense, and a comment from Andrew Wingard on the Spartan offense as well.
You know, I think their quarterback's playing well, and they've got some really good skilled receivers. They've got a great tight end, not a good tight end. Their tight end, I think Oliver, is outstanding, and they utilize him well. And so they can move the ball offensively.
Well, they're an explosive offense. You know, they kind of like Utah State with the run-pass option, and that's always tough, you know. When the quarterback's going like this and waiting for a long time, you got to play both, so it's kind of tough. But, you know, they got good running backs. They got a good quarterback who can throw those slant routes, so it's always a challenge to be able to play, you know, the run and the pass.
So that's a little bit on the San Jose State offense. You know, they've got some people over on the defensive side of the football too, Kevin. They've got players over there that can be kind of a problem and certainly a challenge for the Cowboy offense.
Yeah, they've got a big defensive front, and they like to create chaos. They look like they're disorganized, but they're not really. They like to do it that way and confuse the offense. And they've had some very good performances. That San Diego State performance was really good. We know how good the Aztecs are, and they held them under 20. So they've had some struggles, certainly, in some games, but they've also played very well in some games.
Yeah, Wyoming Cowboy offensive coordinator Brent Vegan talks a little bit about the San Jose State defense.
They like to create some chaos by their front, by their willingness to pressure. And, you know, they're much better right now, I think, than their 1-7 record indicates. You know, they've been able to hang in there with most of their opponents, you know, as they've gotten into conference play. And they got some good players up front in particular, but, you know, we have to know where they are, identify them, you know, correctly as far as our blocking scheme goes in the run game in particular, and do our best to get after them.
So it all makes for a very big football game, doesn't it? The Wyoming Cowboys against the San Jose State Spartans right there in War Memorial Stadium. 12 o'clock noon on Saturday. These two teams will knock heads. So nice to be home, by the way. Cowboys going to enjoy that for sure, but big game coming up.
Well, it really is, and it'd be nice to have a 2-game winning streak going on for the Wyoming team. They believe they can win all these final games. They're all big games if you're looking to be bowl eligible. So this is the next one up, and I think the Cowboys will be very ready for this one.
It'll be Wyoming against San Jose State, 12 noon in War Memorial Stadium right there on Jonah Field. Well, come back next time. We'll talk about it here on Cowboy Football Weekly, driven by Nissan. For Kevin McKinney, I'm Dave Walsh. So long, everybody.